You remember? The ugly damn truth. Today's topic is based off of pride.
Pride.
So we're gonna talk about pride today. What do you think as far as pride? Because I done had somebody actually reach out to me over the weekend and basically say, "Hey, what do you guys think about pride?" From the last time we had a discussion about forgiveness, but this particular week, somebody reached out and said, "Hey man, how does pride hinder you in a relationship?" Can you elaborate on that pride?
Pride, man. Pride is once again one of those demons.
Demons. Yeah, it is a demon.
Because, you know what I mean? You got to think about it. It's one of those, traits of the ego. It can be a positive thing, but it also can be a negative thing. It can be a positive attribute if you use it in a way of having self-respect for yourself.
Makes sense.
What I mean?
Yeah.
But on the other side, though, it can be used as saying that you are better than the other person. It could definitely blind you from seeing the truth of someone else's
truth.
Their truth, yeah.
Yeah.
It can. You know what I mean? Because pride sometimes makes you ignorant about other people's point of view.
It definitely does, man.
You know what I mean?
It definitely
because
does.
You think yours is the only one that exists.
Yeah.
But it doesn't,
Yeah. Well, I can go off of my experience on my pride alone. Like for me, we done did it all, bro. We've been knowing each other since, how long we known each other?
Since the third grade.
Since the third grade.
Yeah.
Now we done played sports together. We done did a lot of craziness together. At the end of the day, we
never fought though.
Yeah, we never fought.
Never
but when we played sports, we had pride. We took pride in how we dressed on the football field. We took pride on how we handled women at the time. We took pride on a lot of different issues. And when it came to, as an adult, far as me, when it came to women or whatever, I basically, far as my pride, destroyed a lot of different relationships because of my pride.
Well, talk about it. What you mean? How did it destroy your relationship?
Well, as a young man, you are always taught, hey, I'm not putting up with this. I'm not dealing with this or that. So at the end of the day, for me, it put me in a perspective like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna sit here. If you tell me something, I'm not changing. That's you that needs to change.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna do this because that's you that need to do this.
Oh yeah.
I'm the man. I make X amount of money. I do X amount of things. What do you need to do to step up? I'm not stepping up. You need to step up. So at the end of the day, for me, it was just like one of those things where I said, you know what? Hey, at the end of the day, I'm going to take the time to just do me. And whatever happens, happens, because I'm just going to continue to do me. I'm going to, be me. I'm going to take the time to say, I make X amount of money. I do X amount of things. You either going to deal with it or move on.
That's pride talking.
That's the pride that's talking. I don't, even, at points when me and my ex-wife, split up, it was just a fact that she was like, hey, I really don't want to get the divorce. But I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, it was like one of those things like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do because you did this to me and I ain't taking that crap. I'm just going to sit up here and put it out there like this, and whatever happens, it happens. I'll get you back when I want to get you back or whatever. That was my attitude at the time. That was my pride kicking in. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. Instead of fixing my relationship, I sat up there and let pride hinder the relationship.
Let me ask you something. Do you think pride is more of a characteristic of fear? Because if you look at the different sides of because it sounds like to me, your pride was your ego side of the negativity side.
Yeah, it was the ego.
Was it fear also involved in it or no?
I think it was a little both. I feel like for me, I let the ego get in the way and I let it dominate who I was. First of all, I didn't even touch the surface of who I was at that particular time.
That's very important.
I didn't know from A to Z what I thought I knew, and I just continued to basically just do what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, she the one did this, so I'm gonna do this. So hey, you know what? It is what it is, and hey, whatever happens, happens. That was my attitude. That was the pride kicking in. Instead of saying, hey, you know what, baby, you want to work things out? Let's go ahead and work this thing out. Let's do what we need to do to make it work. But I just said, you know what? Hey, you left. I'm just going to sit back and I'm not chasing you. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. But in reality, those are the things I should have done to make the
relationship work.
To make that situation work. And I sat back and said, you know what? I'm not going to make that situation work. I'm going to go ahead and do what I want to do because she did this. Instead of me just being the bigger person and allowing myself to, just be that man and say, you know what? Let me go ahead and do what I need to do to be a better person. Let me fix this relationship. Let me go ahead and put in the extra work. Because what we do as people, we always in this fantasy world and say, hey, if this is supposed to be, it's gonna be
with no struggle though.
With no struggle,
they're gonna say there's gonna be no struggle. There's no struggle, which is
that's far in between.
It's an illusion. It's an illusion.
It's an illusion. So instead of being that person like, hey, it's no struggle, we need to take into account that any relationship that you put in the time in, you got to put in work. Everybody thinks that a relationship just supposed to naturally flow. But at the same time, you got to look at people that's been together for quite some time. They sit here and think to themselves like, you know what? I gotta actually work at this. I gotta put in time. I gotta put in effort. I gotta go ahead and work on this relationship. Absolutely. Because without work in this relationship, you're not gonna have the results that you want.
You gotta work at it.
You gotta work.
It's so simple. All people have to do a lot of times is just look at nature. Look around you. There's nothing that grows
without putting
in work. There's going to be a struggle wherever. A tree doesn't grow down deep into the earth without struggling to get there.
You're right. I mean?
Yeah. And the water that flows through the rivers, it flows. It's not like it's just a smooth run. You know what I mean? It has to go through rocks. There's different things in the way.
And it's going to be bumps in the road.
Exactly.
It's going to be a different turning point.
Exactly. So there's nothing in the universe that grows and is just a smooth transition. There's going to be some pull and give and everything.
You're right.
But like you said, a lot of women and men.
A lot of women
live a losing world.
They look at, you know what they do? You know what they do? They look at these reality shows.
Those magazines and reality shows.
And those magazines and reality shows. And they say, you know what? This is what my man should be doing. Or this is what my woman should be doing. Instead of them saying, you know what?
But we going up, you know what? But pride is where we're at though. Because that can take us a whole other level. That'll take us somewhere else.
That definitely will take us somewhere else.
Because that's a whole other show.
That's another show. You're right.
We ain't going to give that to him yet.
Yeah, we ain't going to give him that.
Yeah. But go ahead what you were saying though.
But at the end of the day, with the pride, we sit back and we put ourselves in a position where we can actually fix something, but we don't take the time out to rationalize the whole situation. We just look at the moment. We don't look at the bigger picture. We sit back and say, you know what? I'm not doing that because X, Y, and Z. Instead of sitting up here and saying, okay, how is this situation going to make us put us in a better state of mind, put us in a better position and everything? Because like I said, for me, I done messed up relationships because of my pride. Because at the end of the day, as a young man, we are always taught. We ain't doing that. That's like, you're a punk if you do that.
Weak.
You weak as a man.
Exactly.
You weak as a man if you give in for this, you give in for that, you give in for this or that. Yeah. You're weak. You're considered a weak man because you're not being vulnerable.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you believe that pride is more prevalent under 30? Because now you're in your 40s.
You're right. I think pride is definitely, something like that far as when you're in your 30s or early 20s or whatever.
Testosterone is strong then.
Because at that time, you're just like, hey, that's not what a man's supposed to do. Or, hey, that's not what a woman's supposed to do. Especially women these days. Think about it. I'm not going to sit up here and give in to him because this, and that. No. I'm not doing that because I am in the Me Too era right now.
Oh, that's another topic. That's another topic.
But at the end of the day, it's like, oh, he ain't gonna make me look like this. Yeah. He ain't gonna make me look like I'm soft because at the end of the day, we got this stereotype that in today's relationships, I'm not tolerating this. I'm not putting up with that. I'm not doing that. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. He gonna respect me or she gonna respect me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, well, at the end of the day, like, what are you gonna do?
That's a good point that you're making, because a lot of times our women, because a lot of them are forced to take on the male attribute as far as the energy of a man, to wear the pants and
the dress.
You know what I mean? So a lot of times when men get in relationships and the women,
they like, hold up.
You want to make sure, hey, I got the pants
I'm the man too.
But that's when the pride comes in too.
Yeah, you don't balance that stuff.
Yeah, like, hold up, I'm the man in the situation. So you don't want to bend because of the male ego saying, I'm the man.
I'm the man.
Exactly. So that a lot of times that get us in trouble.
That definitely does.
Because it got me in trouble, just like you. Just like a lot of these men on here that's probably watching.
Yeah.
It got them in trouble.
It always get us in trouble.
Exactly. The pride thing is bad, man. It kills everything.
It kills everything.
They say pride is the vehicle of destruction, man.
Yeah.
And it really is. I think so.
And at the end of the day, when we... let's keep it going. So at the end of the day, we look at it like this. When we sitting up here, just like when we just sitting up here just thinking about circumstances, situations, and where the relationship went wrong at, and it's always everybody else's fault. We don't even take a step back and look from the other person's point of view to see where we went wrong at, and that's the situation.
That's what pride blocks that from happening.
Yeah, because what you're doing is you're only looking at it from your standpoint.
Yes.
You're not taking a step back and looking at it from this other person's standpoint. You're sitting back and saying, you know what, is this person's fault?
It's their fault.
It's always their fault.
That's right.
Instead of looking back and saying, you know what could I have done better to make this whole situation a better situation for everybody?
Yeah.
Do we take time to read books? Do we take time to be, just to be a better person as far as growing, learning how to grow? Because growth comes with making those mistakes. Growth comes with
that's what happens.
Putting that pride aside.
And that's why I said that men under 30, pride is
very strong.
It's prevalent at that time. After that point,
you start looking at things from a different perspective.
Because of experience.
Yeah.
The age, you start to get a little seasoned, so things get a little bit different for you.
Yeah.
Especially if you got a little bit more skin in the game in a relationship, you compromise a little bit more than what you did before.
I'll tell you.
Because I know now, for me, I compromise a hell of a lot more now.
I compromise.
When I was under, beyond 30s, I wasn't compromising for nothing, bro.
Me either, bro. Even I look back 10 years ago, of my early 30s. Bro, I was on some stuff hey, I made over 100 grand. Yep. I made X, Y, and Z. Yep. I got real estate properties. I got this. What you bring to the table?
That's right.
I used to tell girls quick, hey, you know what? I don't need you to do nothing for me, but just be who you are and chill. What can you bring to the table? Nothing at this point in time. But as I've gotten grown older, I look at it from a different standpoint and say, you know what? Let me put my pride aside and let me look at it from their standpoint. Let me look at it from their point of view. Because at the end of the day, money don't rule anything. And at the end of the day, hey, you know what? Let me build something with this person. Let me grow with this person. I'd rather grow in love with somebody than to fall in love with somebody.
So my question is, can pride, a man that's very prideful, can that coexist in a healthy relationship, though?
No,
you know what I mean?
I don't think so. I
agree with you.
I don't think that can actually help a person coexist in a good relationship,
in a healthy relationship. But you know what? I think pride is also good too. Because, like I said, that comes with I'm proud to be an African man.
Yeah, I'm proud to be an African man too.
I'm proud of that. But it doesn't cloud my judgment when it comes to everything else. but I'm proud of being African. But that's the positive side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We always, even like when we play sports, we are proud.
We were proud to be a chief. We was proud to be a sponge. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But we didn't think to the point that, hey,
I'm better than everybody.
Like we can't be beat. We thought like that before.
Yeah, well,
I'm not gonna say that.
But remember,
we were younger though.
Yeah, but remember we got.
But we were champions though.
Well, but remember when Gibbs came, not Gibbs, but when Dixie came back on us.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna talk about it.
But that was pride though.
Yeah.
We thought we had the game won.
We definitely thought we had the game won. We was up 33-0.
Zero at halftime.
Yeah.
At halftime.
What happened? When they came back and beat us 34-33. Exactly. Because we were so prideful, we were so all into ourselves, we didn't even realize we had the game. We still had to play the second half
we still
of
had
the
the
game.
second half to go.
And it's a playoff game.
If we would have came in the second half with that same intensity, we would have blew them out.
And we didn't do what we would do because we was too proud to do what we needed to do in that game.
We'd have beat them 60-something to 0 because they wasn't going to score.
They wasn't
How
going
we
to score.
came out there, they was not going to score.
They wasn't going to score.
No! And they had one of the most high-powered teams at that time.
Yeah, they had
We
everybody.
had so much
heart.
I don't know what it was that game, but we felt it.
We felt it, but that second half, we didn't feel it.
No,
we didn't score a point that second half.
No, we didn't.
All we had to do was score one little point, and we would have won the game.
We would have won it.
But at the end of the day,
pride to do that to you, though.
Pride would basically cloud your judgment.
Absolutely.
It would basically put you in a position where you think everything that you're doing is the right choice.
And it's about you.
And you're right. It's about you.
It's all about you.
And we really don't realize until after the fact that it's not really about you.
No.
It's about that other person. Mm-hmm. You setting up yourself. You're setting yourself up for failure. Mm-hmm. And you're just allowing your pride to hinder the growth of the next relationship that you can actually flourish in.
You know what? Thinking about this for a minute, right?
Okay.
Our past episodes that we have done so far.
Okay.
It's been about forgiveness and been about
roles.
About pride. Mm-hmm. But those two things right there are two attributes of the ego.
Yeah, the ego.
So basically, what we've been saying is, in order to have a healthy relationship and have a successful life, one must kill their ego.
We definitely need to kill that ego.
Yes.
Because the ego will always set you backwards.
That's right.
The ego will put you in a position where you think you're doing way more than what you actually are doing. Mm-hmm. The ego will help you realize things.
We got a whole bunch of people talking right now. They probably asking questions.
Well, what kind of questions they asking?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't really see them down now. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
Well, hey, man. At the end of the day, man, it's cool.
Cool.
Hey, man. We doing. This is a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
We put our pride aside. We up here.
But we ain't never had no pride against each other, though.
No, we ain't never had no pride. But at the end of the day, we put our pride aside and we recognize our mistakes. We recognize what we could be better at. And at the end of the day, we want to share with people, like, you know what? How we can help other people grow with,
But it goes right back. So we talk about pride.
Okay.
But people want to know, how do you conquer it? You see? That's the thing.
How do you conquer it then? How do you conquer pride?
I conquered. It's not over.
It's a work every day.
It's a work every single day. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm trying every day. But I think the more that I love, you know what I mean? The more I compromise, the more the ego dies.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because now I take myself out of my own shoes all the time. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It allows me to put my ego aside and compromise and understand other people's, their view of things, period. You know what I mean? But there's times, like when people start talking about my people, about African American people, that's when the pride
kick in. Of course.
Yeah, but I'm black
and I'm proud.
I would never get away. I'll never get rid of that part of who I am.
Of course not.
You know what I mean? But I'm saying it's still a work when it comes to putting my ego aside, because there are certain things about me as being a man that I think is not the ego, but it really is.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But that's the best way that I've been working on it is to love more and be more compromising.
Well, for me, like pride, I've been working on pride for the last couple of years, and let me tell you, yeah, bro. Let me tell you, that.
Bad though, but
yeah,
you got me on.
Yeah, bro. Like for me,
you got me on your story, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
But for me, like pride is just been one of those topics for me that has really, been like I've been fighting with pride and just like allowing myself to, surrender to pride. But then I find myself looking at my mistakes that I made and been saying, you know what do I need to do to be better so I'm not being prideful? What do I need to do to conquer this?
And what do you do?
I go to, I go to counseling and figure out what I need to do as far as being a prideful person on how I can take the steps to get rid of that. What else I do, I read books. I go ahead and...
But talk more about that counseling because that's been something that a lot of our people don't really do.
Well, mental health is a big deal, bro.
Real big deal.
Yeah.
And our community is huge.
But a lot of people think that mental health is in our community, a lot of people think you're a weak person if you go to counseling, if you take time to figure out who you are, what you want to do with yourself as a person. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I didn't realize who I was until recent years.
So when you went to the counseling, right?
Okay.
It opened your eyes up. It really made you look in the mirror.
It made me look in the mirror at who I am as a person.
You had to judge yourself.
I had to judge myself because I was like,
I'm fucked up in the mirror.
I'm like, yeah, bro, that's basically what it was. It was like one of those wake up calls. Like, dude, you need to step.
I didn't know I was that bad.
I didn't know. I ain't gonna say bad, but I was like, you know what? I didn't know that I had certain issues that I need to work out within myself. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. You know what? Let me continue to grow as a person. Because at the end of the day, I go to counseling just to vent, to get whatever I need to get off of my chest and just say what I need to say. And at the same time, I'm sitting up here looking at different things that I can actually better myself and help me grow as an individual and put away my pride, put away other little issues that I might have.
So tell the people the name of your doctor that you go to.
Dr. April.
Dr. April.
Yeah,
where's she located at?
She's located in Tampa, Florida.
Dr. April. She's a sister then.
She's a black woman.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, she's a sister.
All right.
And,
Dr. April, you guys want to see somebody, Dr. April is who you need to go see.
Yeah, because she'll definitely, she comes correct with you. She talks to you about different issues and, situations you might have.
She on Facebook?
Yeah, she got a Facebook page.
Yeah, we need to plug her in.
She told me to actually plug her in this week, and I didn't. I know, I should have plugged in because she wanted to be commenting and all of that stuff on the show.
Oh,
but, the whole point is...
We'll tag in after the show. We'll tag in.
Yeah. But, we do different things as far as sitting back, observing who I am as a person, because a lot of things with our pride as people is past hurts that we dealt with in the past that make us prideful too.
Absolutely.
Because what we do is like, no, I ain't letting this person run all over me. I'm not going to do this because, no, he making me look like a fool. No, she making me look like a punk. No, I'm not doing all of this.
So we go back to what it is. It's fear, still again.
Yeah, it's always going to be fear.
It's fear. You cannot get away from it.
Nah, you can't get away from fear.
It's hard to get away from the fear.
It's always hard to get away from fear because what happens with that fear, you basically transition yourself to do stuff like you wouldn't do. Basically, you transition yourself where the fear actually compromises who you are as an individual.
Okay.
So the fear puts you in a position to make bad decisions, to make decisions based off of past experiences. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't taken that pride away, you're going to continue to make those decisions based off of pride. I realize when I'm talking to Dr. April...
Yeah, you can't make logical decisions off pride.
Yeah. I remember talking to Dr. April, and she was telling me, she said, hey, you made decisions on relationships based off of your pride. Basically, in so many words, exactly. She was like, hey, you felt a certain type of way, and you was like, nah, I'm manning up.
I'm not going to be a punk.
I'm not going to be a punk. If she want to walk away, she can walk away because, hey, at the end of the day,
there's plenty more out there.
She could be replaced.
That's right. Of course.
So at the end of the day, that's the attitude you have. everybody's replaceable at that point in time. But at the end of the day, you should be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and put in the work that I need to put in. And,
hey, baby, my baby watching too. Yeah, Kia.
Hey, how you doing? At the end of the day, it's like, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and make sure that I'm not putting my pride out there and I'm making bad decisions on everything. We put pride in. Think about it. When we having a bad situation with a family member.
Okay.
We would be so prideful that we're not even going to conversate with that family member because of our pride.
Absolutely.
We're not going to even sit up here and take the time to apologize. We're not going to take the time to acknowledge that person or anything just because, you know what, we feel in some kind of way about that situation. We sitting up here thinking like, I'm not apologizing to this person because of this. I'm not going to talk to this person because of this because they allow their pride to get in the way of fixing situations.
Yeah.
And we'll go to our deathbed because of our pride in situations.
So
never apologize to that other person.
Yeah. Definitely not going to apologize. But it comes back to what we were just saying.
Okay.
The pride is a byproduct of fear.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because you think about the psyche of that individual that's saying, hey, I'm not going to apologize to my cousin, my whoever. You know what I mean?
It was his fault or her fault.
Because at the same time, I'm going to look like a fool.
I'm going to look like a fool.
I'm going to look like a fool to everybody else. But in reality, they haven't took themselves out of their own shoes and look at it from another person's point of view.
Yeah, they haven't done that.
They haven't done that. And that's the key. I think the key to removing pride is to take yourself out of your own shoes and look at somebody else's perspective.
You always have to look at
that, but people don't do that.
But you always have to take it. You have to basically take your steps. Take your body. Basically, you have to step outside of your body and basically look at the overall picture of the situation.
But let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
The average African American person cannot sit down and have a conversation with a KKK member.
And that's definitely correct. And you know what? I have a buddy of mine, my buddy Tamari. We talked about that.
That's the ultimate test.
He told me today, he said...
That's the ultimate test.
He said today to me, we had a conversation about 7:30 a.m. this morning. He said, it's funny how we as people, for instance, somebody that's a member of the KKK party gets shot by somebody that's black. But the black man come in and step in, shoots back at whoever's shooting at this person. Now, do you let that person just stay there and die? Or do you know what I'm saying, that the black man actually stepped up, put his pride aside and said, hey, although you've been calling me a Negro or a nigger or whatever, let me go ahead and help this particular person. So he don't put his pride aside. See,
that's a different type of human being now. That's what we're talking about, what a lot of us try to get to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I said, a lot of people cannot sit down and hear the opinions of someone else.
No, they too prideful.
You know what I mean? Like a KKK member. Can you sit down with a KKK member and have him spell out all the bullshit that he believes about you? I
probably could.
See,
because I've been working on...
Yeah, exactly. I know I can.
Yeah, because I've been working on myself.
Exactly, but
I done sat up there and basically analyze who I am as a person. And at the end of the day... If you
look at it from their point of view, you can understand why they think the way that they think.
Yeah.
Is it right? Is it correct?
No.
Fuck no.
No, it's not.
But the point is, you can see why you have sympathy for why they think the way they think. And that helps with pride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now you get to see the other side of someone else's thoughts and how they perceive things.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's based on misinformation.
Everything is always based off of misconception and misinformation.
Exactly.
So my whole thing is like, far as pride, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Far as pride, do you feel like those same people like really take a deep, like do they take a deep step back and look at situations for what it is, or do they just people who are generally like don't want to, like basically who always like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not going to sit up here and give in to this. Do they take a step back and look at themselves, or do they look at the other person? Or do they just say they don't care?
So you're asking, is the person that's being prideful, do they do what? Do they do? Say it again?
Basically, do they take a step back and look at the whole situation, the overall situation for what it is?
If they want to resolve it, absolutely they should do that.
Okay.
If they don't want to resolve it,
they're going to continue to be prideful?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you want to fix the problem, take yourself out of your shoes and look at somebody else's perspective.
Okay.
Then you can come to the middle.
The middle ground.
Exactly. And resolve the issue. A lot of people can't do that.
And why is that though?
It's fear.
Okay.
Ego. This is just my opinion. I'm not an expert on it. Of course, we always talk about this because we always working on it. You know, we work on ourselves. But those things are the major problems is the ego and fear.
Okay.
Amongst all of it, I think those, for me, I think those things are...
Well, how does fear play a factor in that whole situation, though?
In a relationship or just period, though?
In a relationship. Let's use the relationship.
Oh, please. A man...
Okay.
It's always based on... We don't want to be looked at as a punk. Especially if you're an alpha male.
And we are alpha males.
Yeah, if you're an alpha male...
We're not talking about beta males.
Yeah, that's different. You know,
Okay,
if you're a beta male, it's... You automatically have those traits already.
Yeah. So
alpha male is a little bit different.
Like, yo, you're not running this over
here.
No,
you ain't running it. Even though they might not have their shit together.
Yeah.
But automatically they're going to think, I don't want to look like a chump or a punk. You know what I mean? Which again is fear.
It's fear and prideful.
And definitely prideful.
You're right, bro. Like, I look at my situation where my ex or whatever, my girl, where I used to tell her all the time, I said, babe, allow me to be the man in this relationship. Because she was an alpha dominant female. And I used to be like, babe.
She's a Cancer, right?
She's a Cancer. And I used to be like, hey, allow me to be the man in the relationship. I don't need you to tell me what to do or what to say or anything. I got this. And all she wanted to do in that relationship, me not thinking at the time, was she wanted to be a part of the decision making. But I still allow me, my alpha male.
But she's an alpha female, so she has pride too.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She has pride too. So she didn't want to look like a fool as well. You know what I mean?
She never wanted to look like a fool with me.
It don't make no difference.
Because with me, she always felt like, oh, this dude right here can make me look crazy.
Exactly.
So
because now in the beginning she became vulnerable with you in the beginning.
Yeah.
You can destroy her.
I can always
but that's also with a man.
Yeah.
When you let down your walls, automatically, what I mean, the pride gets a little bit more like, okay, she can hurt me.
She can hurt me. I ain't gonna let her come in. I'm done. I ain't gonna let her come in, and she ain't gonna play with me.
That's interesting, man. That once we start feeling the woman, we start loving her. Pride gets a little bit more intensified.
It always get intensified, bro.
Yeah,
Well,
but until we get to the point where we can trust him. All right, I can trust you. Then it goes back to fear again. You know what I mean? I can trust her. As soon as you feel I can trust her, then the pride kind of like.
So let me ask you this one question, real quick. So if you dating a woman, how do you feel like you don't allow your pride to get into that relationship on a whole different level? Like to basically take over your relationship as a man. But you're dealing with a woman and you like, dang, you've always been that guy that's not like, you always been that guy that, hey, you know what? People take to you and all of that. But how do you not allow the pride to influence your relationship moving forward?
For me?
Yeah, for you.
That's still been a challenge in my relationship. You know what I mean? I got to check my pride every single day.
You got it every day, bro?
Every single day I got to check it.
Wow.
Because, I'm so used to, you got to understand, you do understand.
You always marching to your own beat.
Always have.
Yeah. And I'm the same way, too.
Now I have to compromise on every single, if I want my relationship to work.
You got to put that pride aside?
I got to check my pride every time. I have to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If I don't,
it's gone.
Pretty much.
You're going to be sitting up here in the doghouse to a certain degree.
Or you just going to move on and go to the next chick that will accept your bullshit.
Yeah, well, and then half the time...
And you ain't going to like that.
Yeah, you ain't going to like that.
As soon as you find a chick that's willing to like bow down to all of your bullshit...
You're going to be like, well,
I'm going to move on to the next.
This one ain't even worth it because at the end of the day,
yeah.
It's like, I ain't going to put no work into this either.
Yeah. Because you ain't got to at that point. Because I think us as men, we still want to have a challenge.
Yeah. I definitely think we want a challenge.
Come on, man.
But we always want challenges. At the end of the day, we always want challenges.
You think about this.
All right. I'm thinking. I got my thinking cap on.
All the women you've been with, right?
Yeah.
Most of the women that you settled down with is the women
that was more challenges.
You damn right. They gave you an ultimatum. They put standards in front of you before anything.
Put it this
Your
way.
ex-wife, did she put a standard in front of you?
She held me accountable.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. She held
me accountable because let me tell you something, bro. My ex, all
the ones that you settled down with.
Every woman I settled down with,
they held you accountable.
Always held me accountable.
That's right.
But I allowed my
your pride.
I allow my pride to not hold myself accountable. Yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, I allow my pride to continue to get in the way of that whole situation because I didn't want to hold my own self accountable. But they held me accountable on a whole different level, and that was one of my downfalls. I said that was one of my downfalls because I've always held my pride on a whole different level.
Yeah.
So when you hold your pride on a whole different level, you gonna sit here as far as being accountable. You ain't trying to be accountable. You're not trying to be anything else but what you're trying to do at that moment.
Yeah, you're right. But you know what? It still is a testament to you. But I think I'm gonna say this. We grew up with our dads being involved in our life.
Yeah, so we didn't know how to be accountable for nothing.
No.
We didn't know how to be
men. We didn't know how to be accountable. We didn't know how to be, well, even just to the point.
We didn't know how to even distinguish how we use pride.
No. But I think that's, even men that grew up with fathers, that's an ongoing
problem.
Well, yes, because the ego, whatever you feed it, is what you're going to get out of it. Yeah. So if you sit around and watch bullshit TV all day, read crazy ass books.
Well, what's bullshit TV? Is that
Love and Hip Hop?
Love and Hip Hop, that reality stuff where
shit like that. Oh yeah, shit like that will have you doing stupid shit.
Yeah, because why is that? Because on them shows, everything they're doing is all about their pride.
All of it.
Everything they're doing.
The men, everything is about that. And their ego is just dominant.
Off loose. It's just outrageous. It's out of whack. It gives us a false pretense of what a relationship is really about.
I don't know. You think about it. There's not one healthy relationship on that show. Not one.
Well, when you say that, yeah, it really isn't.
There isn't one.
No. There's always some drama. And the reality is, though, let's keep it real, though, too, though. Reality is, most relationships, you got to put in work. But on those shows, think about it. What do they do when those relationships are so prideful? The person move on to the next person.
Oh, yeah.
And they act like, you know what? The next relationship is better.
And it's not.
And it's just as worse as the first relationship.
It's not better.
And people don't put in pride, well, I ain't putting in no work for this person.
You do not work on yourself and build up your characteristics on you, make yourself a better person,
well,
you won't be no good in a relationship, no matter who it's with. It does not matter.
And that's basically, you got to take your pride out of that situation to make yourself a better version of yourself. You have to take a mirror
and look at yourself and evaluate you every single day.
And you're right.
Every day. You got to evaluate yourself every single day. And a lot of people are afraid to do that.
Okay.
To look at themselves. Bro, let me tell you what I used to do. I used to take a picture. Okay.
Go ahead, man. I'm listening.
But what I used to do, I'm going to wait till you get back. Corey will be back in a minute, y'all. Hey, your phone going dead too, man. Let's see who's on there. Frank, what's up? Excuse me. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Let me fix this damn camera. All right. But I forgot what the hell I was saying already.
So what we left off, bro?
I forgot already, man.
You forgot?
Hell yeah.
Well, we still talking about pride. But at the end of the day, bro, at the end of the day, where, you know, we as people, we definitely need to step up and continue to not be as prideful as we should be. We need to definitely look in the mirror.
Yeah. Oh, that's where I was at. Thank you.
Okay.
So this is what I used to do, and I need to start back doing it again anyway. What I used to do is take a picture of myself. Are you with me? What is it?
He says, "I'm coming over to help you guys with that bottle."
Yeah, with an eye.
No, that's what my boy Mike Blair.
Now, check this out now. Now,
Mike Bar.
what I used to do, Corey,
Okay.
I used to take a picture of myself. Now, this is how I judge myself. Take a
All
picture
right.
of myself.
You taking a
and
picture?
look at the picture as if I'm looking at somebody else and judge it. Like, what's his demeanor?
Okay.
What do you think he's thinking?
Okay.
Is he happy? Is he sad?
Okay.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually judge you, but through a photo of yourself. And try to say, you know how to read people when you see them.
Yeah,
You know?
that's what I do for a living.
But do the same thing to yourself.
Okay.
To yourself. Be like, is this individual happy? Is he sad? Does he look uncomfortable?
Okay.
And that helped me come to the realization of some of the things that I need to work on with myself too. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And it worked. And of course, meditation.
Yeah, I always take the time to meditate, to pray, and to take my mental journey into, a different space, a different atmosphere, a different...
My boy Rob, what's up, boy?
Yeah. So, that's what I've done, but...
So going forward, okay, you say most of what you do for pride is you meditate. What else do you do?
I sit back, like I was saying earlier, man. I take the time to go to therapy.
Oh, therapy, you said that. Mm-hmm.
That's basically, I go to that once a month to just...
What's her name again? That's
Dr. April.
Dr. April.
I go to Dr. April once a month to get my... What I want to say is to just basically cleanse myself. To basically
purge yourself.
Yeah, purge myself. Basically to get rid of certain things that's been bothering me for the month. And I just go and chit chat with her and chop it up with her. And at the end of the day, we have a discussion and she'll tell me straight up, like, Corey, you good. But at the end of the day, I just still like to go just to, have that certain conversation just to clear my mind.
But do you think you're good?
Oh, I know I'm good.
With your ego?
Well, always got to continue to work on my ego. So, that's one of the things where I go to her and, work on my ego, work on my perspective, work on a lot of different things that I can be better with. Mm-hmm. And that is, my pride. And, my pride run deep sometimes.
You had pride since we was a little kid, man.
Well, we all have pride.
No, I'm going to tell you how I know you had pride.
Okay.
And I'm talking about the positive side.
Mm-hmm.
I always mess with you about it. You know what I'm about to say.
Okay.
To come to your house and your room with
my room was clean.
What is to be immaculate?
Yeah, I took
and
time.
You ain't want nobody to dirty it up at all. You took pride.
I took pride in my room. I took pride in my room.
And you was 10 years old then when you had the bunk beds. You remember when you had the bunk beds?
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, I took the time.
You took pride.
I took pride.
Me too, though. My room was the same way.
Yep.
Same exact way.
Yeah, we took pride in keeping our rooms clean. And I take pride in where I keep my house clean now. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, that's a reflection. Like I tell my kids, I say, listen, at the end of the day, you need to take pride in where you keep your stuff at. Mm-hmm. But I'm not saying, hey, take pride where it's going to hinder you.
Take care of it and everything. Yeah.
But take pride in where you live at. Take pride in what you keep, how you keep your room, your space, your personal space. Because I say you will always be judged off of the way you keep your things. So just take pride on how you do things. So pride can be a positive and pride can be a negative.
Exactly.
But how you use, a lot of us, the way we use pride.
It's the negative side of it.
It's the negative side. Mm-hmm. So in today's time, we definitely need to take time into learn about how we can be better and start using how we can actually be better, how we can actually grow from our pride, how we can actually distinguish positive and negatives from our pride. But
you think about where we receive our pride from. Let's think about it for a minute.
Okay.
Now, we grew up on hip-hop music.
We definitely grew up on hip-hop.
Right? Now,
I remember you was rapping.
Absolutely.
In high school and middle school.
All the way through.
Yeah.
But you think about this for a minute. The ego has been built up by all the things outside of yourself.
It always
music, media, everything that's outside of yourself, right?
Yeah.
What has been influenced us the most?
I think music.
Music. What kind of music were we listening to?
Rap music.
Okay. In that music,
well, sometimes we listen to some Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah, we didn't grow up on, but we didn't grow up on that. We grew up on Jodeci, Intro, Silk.
We grew up. I'm about to say, we grew up on that stuff.
We grew up on that, but a lot of it we didn't play that all day long.
No, but we played that rap music. We played Dr. Dre. We played The Chronic, the album The Chronic.
Exactly.
We played Snoop.
So in that
Doghouse,
a lot of that music was,
teaching us
how to be some dickheads.
Well, definitely taught us how to, because I remember Tupac's song, I Get Around. Remember that song?
Yeah.
That was my mindset. Like, shit, I get around. Like, hell, I go round and round, around we go.
But our pride was built off those influences outside of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, think about it, if majority of the African American men and women knew more about their African history. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where we come from.
They'll take more pride in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it'll
open up your mind. It'll expand your.
It'll expand it.
Yeah.
Because most of the men are driven off of the music that they heard. You know what I mean? The Tupacs and everything else. I don't want to just keep riding on Tupac because he did have some positive influence music too. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if a lot of us knew more about our history, that pride would take precedence over all the other bullshit. Yeah. Because with that comes cultural pride and everything else. Like you think about some of the Asian people, right? They listen to hip hop too. Yeah. But their cultural pride
is different than their
overpowers or supersedes all the other bullshit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I tie into all the other ones.
So how do as being black folks, how do we take that route?
Educating yourself about.
So how do we educate ourselves?
Pick up a book.
Pick up a book.
You pick up a book.
Oh, and you
pick up a book.
You go on YouTube.
Go to seminars.
You go to YouTube and listen to different
you can do
people.
That too.
Because for me, I go and listen to different people, celebrities. I go to workshops.
Because I'm gonna tell you something, right? Not to cut you off, brother.
Go ahead, my brother.
Now, if you were influenced all your life by, let's say, some of the African scholars,
okay,
right? And some of the cultural leaders, of African diasporas, right?
Okay.
And in there, it taught you how to treat a woman, an African woman, African American woman.
Okay.
All your life, that's what you was taught. You know what I mean? Your perspective of how to treat a woman would have been totally different based on
what I learned
about our African culture, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about it for a minute. We've been separated from our culture for so long that we are now a mixture of so many different people's ideology and their culture. We don't have an identity.
We don't have our own identity.
We don't.
Yeah.
So with that, we're so confused in so many different directions. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So our ego and pride is just, it's crazy right now.
Yeah, because we let it get in the way.
Yes, hip hop music has shaped the way that our generation thinks. It really has.
Yeah, definitely.
Our pride is built on this, bullshit, the music that we listen to.
That's
fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like how a woman, you know what I mean? Like that's what you got. That's where you got a lot of your information growing up from.
Yeah, I got a lot of my information growing up from hip hop.
Exactly.
Well, how you treat a woman? You become a player because the music you listen to. You become prideful because of the music you listen to. You become a lot of different things because of the influences you have.
I tell you, when you think about it, like when our grandfathers grew up in the music that they used to listen to, it was totally different. They had pride in treating a woman right. They looked at you crazy if you didn't open up a door for a woman.
Bro, if you didn't put your jacket on the ground when it was wet
yeah,
on
exactly.
the ground.
You like to them, you was like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you?
You do, yeah. So let me ask you this: how do we get back to that? Because now when a man do it, they're perceived as weak. They're perceived as a square. They're perceived now as a man. When you're a nice guy, let me just put it in this perspective, and let me see if we run in the same direction. As a man, when you're perceived as that nice guy, you're opening up doors, you're doing all of this stuff, and then your boys look at you like, nigga, what the freak are you doing all of this stuff? Mm-hmm. Now at this point in time, you're in the back of your head like, damn, am I doing something wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like in your head. So you step back because your pride get in the way, doing the things that you are accustomed to doing because of other people, the influence that other people might have, and look at you and say, you know what? You look soft, bro. You opening up doors. You putting your jacket on the ground for your girl to walk on. You're doing all of these simple ass things. Mm-hmm. So is that the pride getting in the way?
Absolutely. Okay. But the question should be is, like I said, how do we get away from it? And truly, I think you first have to identify where did it start from. And that's what I just pinpointed. Of my belief, I think a lot of it, our generation, hip hop music influenced us.
Yeah.
The music is what actually, for me, that's what I feel.
Okay.
That's what did it. So to try to fix the issue, change the frequency.
Okay.
Change the sound.
So you got to change that sound. You got to change the music.
You listen to something that's more positive.
Okay.
That's more on the line of what you're trying to do.
So let's ask our viewers real quick.
Okay.
Do anybody have a situation where they feel like they've been kind of prideful in a situation and they kind of let the pride get in the way? If so, just make a comment and so we can actually address the situation. Because we want to know, like, are we the only ones thinking like the way we're thinking about pride? Or have anybody else been in a situation where they allowed their pride to get in the way of a situation where it could have been fixed, but they are kind of, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. Mm-hmm. So, please, make the comment and say.
They down there commenting too.
Okay. Yeah, please make that comment and say, hey, this is what, pride has done for me. Because we want to address those situations because with us, I looked at my situation and I know I allowed pride to just make some bad decisions within my pride. Mm-hmm. I allowed certain situations to determine my future. And at the end of the day, I didn't realize that at the time, but I allowed that situation to happen.
I'm just talking now.
So please, make a comment. Just say, hey, you know what? because we want to address those comments.
Yes.
You know,
we want to hear what you guys think about
say,
what pride is to you, how it affected you, how did you overcome it, or how you're continuing.
Because we want to know how did you overcome this
exactly.
pride?
You know, because we have our own way of doing it, but we still want to know how you guys are trying to overcome it as well. You know, because it's an ongoing process for me and Corey. You know, and I'm pretty sure for you guys too. You never truly conquer pride. You know, pride is an ongoing ego fight. You know, as long as you keep feeding it, it's gonna keep growing. So how we
gonna fix this situation?
Males, because the women too, because you guys have pride as well. You know?
Yeah, y'all definitely have pride as well. y'all
got every right to be.
Y'all be on some other stuff, and we be like, yo, chill out, relax. We got you, but chill out for the moment. You know what? Don't allow this pride to get in the way. Chill out for the moment.
Oh yeah. So for you,
and if you have any kind of ideas of what we can do to adjust our pride and allow us to flow in a better way, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
And if you guys have any kind of topics that you guys want to talk about,
now what are you saying now? Let's get to the point. This is a display of letting your pride get aside. Because we can be like, we don't give a fuck what you say. We got it all figured out.
We don't have it figured out.
We don't have it figured out. You know what I mean? That's to show you that you put your pride aside. That's how you learn.
Yeah,
that's how you grow. You know what I mean? Because you don't have all the answers.
We don't have all the answers. Yeah.
So us working together and growing together is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Hell, you look at the trees outside, when they dig deep into the ground, you see roots crossing each other, growing together.
We definitely do.
And that's what we do as humans. You know what I mean? We share the same Mother Earth. We try to pull nutrients from the same Mother Earth. We should do the same thing in life. Grow together, have an understanding.
We got to continue to water that plant. We got to continue to water the situation and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see what what did I say? So open communication and understanding.
That's right.
That you are not
that's right,
always right.
What happened? We'll get to the
Shanika,
what she said?
She said basically, what's up, girl? How you been doing? It's been a while. But she said basically,
we got Mr. Harris in the house. Parkes Harris, what's going on?
She basically says, hey, open communication and understanding that you are not always right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a greater point.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier as well. You have to do that.
And like Sunday said, admitting when you're wrong is basically what we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, we definitely, as people, we definitely got to work on this pride thing. We definitely got to grow as people. We definitely need to, understand where we're all coming from and understand that, sometimes being right all the damn time don't make no damn sense.
No. You can't
grow when you
always right.
Yeah.
And
you can't grow.
No.
So what you need to do is understand where your position is, where you grow from, and where you come at, and you just go from there.
See, my cousin was saying, pride is a good thing to have. Yes. But pride and being proud is something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Pride is different than being proud of something.
So let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. We're gonna sign out pretty much after this.
Yeah.
But do you feel like, as young men,
mm-hmm.
especially today's generation young men, do they sit up here and really think about the things they do? Far as, do they take pride in who they are as a person?
No. I'm not going to say all of them, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do they take pride in? Do they just allow their pride to get in the way of their relationships with their ladies?
Men under 30? What are we talking about? What men?
I'm saying men. I'm saying 40 and under. 40 and between 30 and 40.
We still do. Absolutely, we do.
Okay. So how do most men at this age really go ahead and say, you know what?
Put the pride aside?
Put the pride aside.
I said it earlier. First, you must identify where it comes from. You know.
What you talking about? No.
What that?
She says sometimes we will wait to be heard and can solve a lot with listening. Well, you're absolutely correct. You got to pay attention to what you got going on. If you don't pay attention...
What if you grow to that point? Teddy, what you say now, what if you grown to that point? What do you mean by that? You grown to the point of putting the pride aside, or what do you mean? That's Fat Man.
Oh, Fat Man?
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, so what she was saying?
She was basically saying, she was just saying sometimes we want to be heard and can solve a lot of with... Basically, she said sometimes we want to be heard and we can solve a lot by just listening.
That's true.
Yeah, we can solve a lot by listening, but at the same time, we gotta work, because you can listen, but if you ain't putting in the work,
but he can listen, but does he comprehend?
Yeah.
That's another.
So how you gonna help him comprehend?
You can talk all you want to, but if a person don't comprehend what you're saying.
So what do you do far as explaining how they far as somebody who don't comprehend?
That's on the individual.
So the person that's explaining the situation, they got to go ahead and explain it into a situation. They got to explain the situation
in a way that they can understand it.
So they can go ahead. So basically, you need to articulate what you're trying to say.
Or you got to know your partner too. You know what I mean? Whoever the person you're talking to. If you don't know him, what did he say?
He said to where you're right most of the time.
There's no such thing. You know? Teddy, his question was, what if you grown to that point to where you are right most of the time? Well,
that means you gotta basically.
If you right most of the time, and
something wrong with that picture.
Well, no, let's say he's saying that he's right most of the time, and his girl
is wrong.
Well, she just don't understand where he's coming from, because it could be a communication problem too.
But that means you need to take the time to go ahead and reevaluate, sit back and say, hey, babe, this is what I'm trying to say. This is where I'm trying to go at with this whole circumstance, this whole situation.
That comes back to communication. He got to be able to articulate it in a way that she understands. She's understanding it. But that's if he's talking about that particular issue. But if he's talking about pride, you know what I mean? Pride will make you think that you're right up most of the time.
What if you think you're right all the time?
Doesn't mean you're right.
You're really not right all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Pride will make you think that you are right most of the time. You don't know if you're right. You know what I mean? It also depends on what the situation is. If you're dealing with your mate and you're having a disagreement, and you come to the point where your pride kicks in and you don't identify it, you're gonna always think you're right. You're gonna always think that you're right. You know what I mean?
So yeah,
and take yourself out of your shoes first. Listen to the other person's opinion, their perspective.
Even when you think you're right, you still got to
reevaluate it again.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you want a situation to work. And that's even in life. You know what I mean? If you got good character, you want to always take yourself out. And we're not speaking from the point that we have the perfect character. Because we don't.
We don't.
We don't.
I know I done messed up a lot of little relationships. I done had the baddest chicks in the world. When I say I done had some bad chicks, I done had some bad chicks.
And you're right, cuz understanding is the key. It is the key. And that's what we're talking about. You got to know how to compromise and you know, take your
out of your shoes. And I know I don't allow my pride to get in the way with some superb situations.
Talk about some superb situations.
Some superb situations.
Bad boys. You know, she was superb, boy.
She was bad. You know, bro. I like for me. I know I done messed with some bad chicks.
Yeah. Me and you both.
We both of them messed with like some supermodels.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like, yo, like at the end of the day, I allowed my pride to get in the way. I was like, yo, I don't give a damn how bad you are. Yeah. You know, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well,
you know
what Teddy said.
But it can depend on the people you're around.
That's right.
That's right. That's true.
Right,
but that's the whole thing, though. You know, we allow our pride to get in the way of. We allow our pride to get in the way of relationships when it comes to other folks. For instance, where we think of something and we have bad influences around us. So do you allow your pride to get in the way, or you just, you know, wander in the streets? But, what do you want to do?
Like I was saying earlier, I believe the key to killing the ego, which is also associated with your pride, is to change the frequency, change what you listen to, change the people you're around. It helps.
So surround yourself with positive people, basically, what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean? People that have a different outlook than you do. You know what I mean?
That so kind of like mine?
No, because let's say if you have a warped reality,
okay,
and you put yourself in a circle of the same like-minded people, you're not gonna grow. You need to put yourself in around people that think different than you think, because that's the only way that you will grow. You want to change how the ego is operating, because it's been filtered.
All the negative shit. All the negative stuff.
Exactly.
All the negative stuff.
So you want to try to reprogram that.
That makes sense.
And the best way to do it, especially for me, you've been listening to hip hop. That has been the constant thing. So you got to cut that out. That's been the constant thing in my life since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
So in reality is that we just got to change who we are as an individual and grow from who we are.
You got to change your environment. I'm not saying you got to move from your house.
We're not saying that you need to cut off friends, but we're saying...
You may have to. No, I'm not saying that, because you may have to.
But no. You can cut them off, but you don't have to. Listen, you can cut your friends off, but you don't... I'm not going to say you got to cut them off, but you can actually... You can take time away from that situation.
But see, if you got friends in your life that's not serving the purpose to help you become a better individual, they're wasting time and space.
Okay, they are.
Because what they're there for? But you gonna reminisce about the past all day?
Well, sometimes people do that.
I'm not doing that.
You're not doing it.
After we have done it the first time we saw each other, ain't no more rest. We gonna relive all the stuff from the past, and then what?
What Teddy saying? He says, I think your pride and ego will still be there regardless.
Absolutely.
But that's what we said. We talk about you got to continue to work on it, though.
It's going to always be there.
Bro, until the end of the time. But you got to, at the end of the day, with your pride and ego, you got to sit here and recognize the fact that it's there, and you got to continue to work on it and can grow with the pride.
Exactly. That's what we're saying. Your pride, you have to change how it operates.
Yeah.
Because your pride has been built off of what's been influencing you from around you. So change that.
So how do you go about changing that? How do you go about changing that? The key is going about changing that is just, like he was saying, just take the time to surround yourself with positive people that are more like your mind, your mindset. Like for me, for instance, I've been successful in whatever I've done. Just because I've been like minds. And even when I'm not around like minds, I go ahead and step my stuff up with people that's on a whole different level than myself. I'll go ahead and, I'll sit back and I sit back and listen. I learn. I sit back and say, you know what, damn, this person making more sense than what I am. I'm not willing not to learn, because I'm not going to let my pride get in the way of my money. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to sit here and do what I need to do. I'm going to operate the way I need to operate. And I'm going to sit back and pay attention. I'm not going to let my pride get in the way of saying, you know what? I'm not going to listen to this person and because this, and that. Hell no. I'm going to go ahead and listen to this person because they've been successful on this whole level. And I'm going to do what I need to do and not even allow my pride to get in the way of that situation. So that's what we need to do. We need to continue to grow. We need to continue to believe in ourselves and believe in what we are capable of doing and surround ourselves with continuously surround ourselves with positive people and a positive influence.
There's no way that you can go. This is Teddy talking. He said he believed that you can go on the other side of the world and you will still have the same.
I don't believe that.
That's not because like it goes.
Culture is different.
That's right. It goes back to what has been feeding your ego. What has been feeding you as a being. If you go to another place and every single day their culture is revolved around uplifting their ancestors every single day and loving the woman. And that's going to be the perspective of majority of all of them there. Their ego is going to be built around that cultural perspective.
Situation, that perspective.
You know what I mean? So you're not going to get the same type of ego everywhere, but you will get the same from a man, the same masculine energy, no matter where you go.
You're right.
They're going to want to protect themselves. They're going to want to protect their family. That'll never change. But how they perceive things, look like this fault to do.
We good.
How they perceive things is different because their environment has taught them different.
That makes sense, man. That definitely makes sense.
Okay, what do you say? I believe your pride and ego, how much you have, is based on your characteristics. But what do you mean how much you have?
I believe that at the end of the day,
monetarily or
characteristics are based on your upbringing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we on a whole different subject for it. That's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
But characteristics are based on your PTD. What is that? PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
So PTSD. Mm-hmm. For instance, like a lot of people don't realize that they're dealing with post-traumatic situations that they experienced that's in their childhood, that's basically influencing their livelihood of who they are now. So at the end of the day, a lot of people just are going through a lot of different situations. They're dealing with a lot of situations, and they're influenced by a lot of different situations. Am I correct?
I'm with you. I agree with you.
Because a lot of the trauma that we deal with in early childhood because of parents or because of the environment we were raised in has put us in a situation where we as people, we have these false precepts, like, come on. At the end of the day, we got to grow and just continue to understand where we're coming from and understand that what we believe in is something that's been based on things that happened to us in the past. Do you agree?
Absolutely. You think about some of the people that have done time in prison. Mm-hmm. And you see their thought patterns and everything changes while they're behind when they're locked up. That's because they surround themselves. It depends on what they're doing in prison. If they find a group of people that's trying to grow and change, while they're in there, their perspective and their thought patterns change to the group that they're around, their environment. But as soon as they come back home and they get back to where they left,
same stuff,
their mindset drifts right back to it.
Yeah.
So that's a proven point. You can see it just by how people act when they're locked up versus when they come back home. You know what I mean? Because they get right back into their environment and their character changes. Exactly. When they're in prison, let's say if they're Christians or Muslims or whatever, they take on the characteristics of a Muslim while they're in that environment. So they change. But if they take that same thought pattern and come back home with it, they will remain the same. So you can change based on what you're around. Characteristics can be changed. You can train yourself to think different, to behave different. You know what I mean?
You can train yourself to do a lot of different things.
Yes, you can. Brother, mind is powerful.
But we don't realize how powerful the mind is.
That's what I mean. The mind is very powerful, man.
So the question is, how do we continue to grow and do what we need to do? You know what I mean? As you grow, and my friend Shanika says, as you grow and deviate, your group of friends will change.
That's right.
Yeah, that's definitely right.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
you can tell the growth of the person if they're still around the same people and they're doing the same exact thing.
So,
not to say because you have the same friends, you still the same mindset.
Don't mean that just because you cut certain people off, don't mean that you're better than them either.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with that. You're growing and you're trying to put yourself in an environment that you can continue to grow in.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I believe in that. If I have a group of friends that's stagnant, they don't want to grow, and I'm trying to, it serves me no purpose to continue to waste my time in that.
And you don't want to waste your time. That don't make no
my
damn
time
sense.
is what that's
That's
it.
personal. That's your personal time. That's the things that you deal with.
That's what I have,
But hey, folks, I hate
it's been real.
It's been real. We hate to cut you short.
This is a good discussion, man. It really was.
If you guys have any topics that you guys want us to discuss about, please let us know.
Let us know.
Because we discussing some real issues.
But, Teddy, you was right. Fat man, you was right. About what you were saying about your pride is gonna always remain.
Yeah.
Always remain. You just gotta know how to manage it.
We definitely gotta know how to manage that pride.
You gotta know how to feed it. That's the main thing with it. We don't have the answers with that, but that's with anything. You know what I mean? If you have a plant and you want it to grow,
you gotta water. You gotta water that.
You got to know what to feed it, what time to feed it, in order to grow to where you want it to blossom. How you want it to blossom. That's with yourself too. You know what I mean? If you want to change the way that you think,
you got to sit here and
you got to
plant the seeds.
You got to feed yourself that type of thing that you want to become. You can't, if you want your characteristics to change, get around individuals that have the type of characteristics that you're looking for.
Get around the same mindset. Basically, is what he's saying. Just continue to be like mindsets, and you will find the answers that you're looking for. You will continue to grow.
And that comes with success in anything. If you want to be a millionaire, just hang around a millionaire and see what happens to you.
And that's just like me and my boy.
I guarantee you become rich.
Hey, that's just like me and my boy right here. We sit here and chit chat. We talk about different issues. We talk about different things. And we are like minded so much. It's just crazy. Yeah. Because we be on some of the same real stuff. And it's like, wow, bro, I didn't know you was thinking like that. Yeah. And he'll tell me, yo, I was thinking the same way you was thinking. And hey, we actually collaborate and we be on the same page. So at the end of the day, what it is that you need to be around people that's like-minded as yourself.
And you know what? I want to say this before we go, man.
Well, go ahead, bro.
Don't be afraid to let some of your old friends go. And I'm not saying you
cut them off all the way.
Yes,
completely.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying to you is you have to grow. You know what I mean? Once they see you growing,
they're going to be willing to grow too.
Exactly. Because you've been around them they might get jealous. That could happen too. But hopefully that does not happen. Hopefully they look at you like, yes.
That's my boy. That's my brother.
My boy is doing some positive things. And they want to not pull on your coattail, because hopefully that don't happen. But they like, hey, tell me what you did, brother.
How you got to the point that how you got there? That's what one of my homeboys said. That's one of my homeboys said to me today. He said, Coop, how did you get there to where you're at right now? And I had to explain to him, bro, I've been investigating. I've been taking the time to learn who I am. I've been taking the time to learn what I'm willing to put up with and what I'm willing to tolerate. Mm-hmm. I've taken the time. Here, you keep hearing the key word. I have taken the time. Uh-huh. I've taken the time to learn about myself. I'm taking the time to learn about what actually motivates me. And what motivates me is continuing to grow. What motivates me is continuing to learn about myself, learn about different facts about myself, learn about who I am as an individual.
You know what though? because we keep. Well, this episode's going long. But let me say this: if you want to change, and I'm gonna be honest with you, do something you never done before. That's true change.
So
do something that you have never done before.
So basically, step outside of your box.
You have to.
So folks, you hear what we're talking about. Step outside of your natural environment. Step outside of your natural way you think.
Do something different.
Step outside of your body. Basically, step outside of who you are as an individual.
My boy Teddy, my boy Fat Man on there, he know where we can listen. Me and his brother, we had a clique of us. We used to do crazy stuff together.
Oh man, we all did crazy stuff, bro.
To come from that type of mindset to grow to where we at now, and my brother now is a business owner. He's doing very well for himself, and I advise whoever watching to go to his page, follow what he's doing. He got a business, and jump on board to whatever he's got going on too as well, man. For real, for real.
For real, but listen, at the end of the day, if you're not willing to put in the work for who you are as an individual, it's not going to pay off anyway. Mm-hmm. So take the time to step up, research yourself, research who you are. I keep saying research. Research what you're willing to put up.
Research yourself.
Research yourself. Enjoy who you are. Just do what you need to do to be a better man or a woman, and you will go a long ways. Like, take the time to grasp everything you're learning and just do what you need to do. Yep. Because at the end of the day, man, all you're doing is growing. Mm-hmm. Take the time to grow. Take the time to learn. All we do is, as people sometimes, as individuals, I don't even know what to call it.
No. Let me tell you something right now. Corey tipsy right now.
I am a little tipsy, but at the end of the day, I'm speaking truth.
We always speak the truth. Yeah, that's all you gonna always get from my brother is the truth.
And all you're gonna get from my brother is the truth.
That's what we gonna give you. You may not like it.
But hey, we gonna give you the ugly, the damn truth.
The ugly, damn truth.
That's what we do. That's what we do. But hey, we signing out.
We signing out. A Lafayette, which if y'all don't know what it means, peace and blessings in Yoruba. That's our culture. All right?
Man, learn that.
We're Africans.
Learn that.
Be proud of it.
Learn who you are as an individual and take the time to recognize your strengths. Take the time to recognize what you can do to influence other people in a positive way.
Yep.
Signing off. Peace.